Chances are, if you're a relatively new designer, your portfolio probably stinks, but I'm here with 7 tips to help you correct that situation. Hey everyone, what's up? Gary Simon here. So today I'm going to be going over 7 tips to help you make a better design portfolio. And specifically speaking, I'm talking about the area in your portfolio where you're listing out your projects. So usually people will do this in the form of thumbnail galleries, but really this is where my tips are really focused on, trying to help you get that part better and also how to showcase your project so they're not so boring and bland. And this can really improve your chances at getting hired either by an employer or by a client. So as always, make sure to subscribe if you haven't yet, and let's get started. Before we begin though, Linode, the sponsor of this video, makes it easy to host your site, your app, or service on whatever technology stack you use. With one-click apps like WordPress and Drupal, getting up and running is easy. With backend access to your server, customization options are all but limitless. A fully configurable DNS manager allows for you to easily switch your domain over to your new server, and SSL certificates can be installed for free using open source tools. So sign up using the link below to get $20 in credit on your new Linode account. Framing your designs. So here we can see an example of 3 different portfolio projects laid out in a gallery thumbnail format. Now, right now, these aren't what I would call framed at all. You can see there is a background color that is slightly different, and this can make it a little bit difficult for the user or the potential client or somebody who might hire you to distinguish between these 2 projects. I've seen a lot of times in my live review, people laying out their gallery thumbnails like this with examples that have the same colored background, like white, for instance. So instead, you can do something like this, which will really help separate out the designs. And sometimes people even add in different design elements into the background itself just to make it a little bit more interesting. Now, here are some examples of this practice here in the real world. We can see the design has been laid out here with a gradient background and a subtle shadow. Same thing here. And same thing here in this example. Device mockups. So one way to give your UI designs context is to feature them on an actual device of some sort. So if you're designing for tablet, you can show it within a tablet, like here in this example. And this isn't a requirement, it's just one thing you can use in your presentation arsenal, so to speak. In this example, we can see a high fidelity phone for a close-up of the actual mockup. And one thing I've been noticing recently though, are designers who omit the physical device from the mockup, but instead they're rounding out the corners and just featuring subtle elements of the phone, like this cutaway example at the top. Featuring your animations. So if you created an interesting animation in your UI, you should definitely feature that animation on your portfolio. Here's a Flutter example, and here's a website example. Now, you may be wondering yourself how you can achieve this if you don't know anything about video. Well, you have a few options. The easiest is to use a screencasting tool to record the animation or interaction taking place as you use it. So whether you have a live example or a prototype example, you can record the screen as you use it. Now, another option is to use something like Adobe After Effects to create the animations from scratch. The positive to this is the animations tend to be very smooth, but the negative is that it's time consuming and there is a learning curve. Another option, as shown here, is to take an actual video of yourself using the actual project. Embedding your prototypes on your portfolio site. Now, if you use Adobe XD or Figma, you can embed the prototypes you've created on your portfolio site. Now, this is awesome as it allows your potential clients or employers to use what you've created. So here's an example of an XD prototype that is embedded on this website up here. And here's the info page at figma.com with information about embedding your designs on your website. Floating UI elements. Now, when I say floating, I mean taking a given UI element like this, as seen here, and extending it outside of the perceived device. This can provide more information about a given UI, but it also makes the project preview look more interesting. Providing more info about your projects. So as seen here, like in our first example, we have 3 different projects in a thumbnail gallery view. And one thing that's common that I see a lot of designers do is simply showcase the actual project in like a lightbox example like this. Ideally, you would provide more information about the project. Like in this example. In this example, we have a full presentation at the top, and then we have more information about the client, and you can provide more thumbnails and just different looks of the user interface. Prospective UI Designs. When users are using your UI designs, whether it's on a desktop monitor or a handheld device, rarely is the UI design presented in a perfect 90-degree angle. One way to reinforce this is to present your UI designs in different perspectives. Now here are a few ways to get device mockups. So one option is to go to Dribbble.com and do a search for the type of mockup you want. Here I've typed in perspective mockup, and this gives me a list of a bunch of mockups. Now some of them are paid, a lot are free, so just take a look at the one you want and see if there's a free option or not. Another thing you can do is go to Behance and do the same exact thing. Behance and Dribbble, sort of competitors. You can see all these free different mockups that they offer here that other users have created. There's also paid options. PerspectiveMockups.com is an option. And also one of my previous sponsors, YellowImages.com, they offer a lot of 3D based mockups that you can use as well. So if you want to learn about creating UI animations, for example, in After Effects, obviously you can go to YouTube and just type in something like this, UI animation tutorial in After Effects. You have a lot of awesome tutorials here that you can learn from. Here's 2 of mine actually right here, like creating sleek UI animations in After Effects CC 2018. This is over a year old, but it's still relevant. And also, there's something called mockupframes.com. I feature this in a tutorial as well right here where I show you how to use it. But basically, it allows you to upload a UI prototype animation of some sort, and then it will allow you to place it in a perspective phone mockup. There's a lot of different options, like iPhone, Android, PC, and web. And then it'll allow you to export it in MP4, MOV, GIF, PNG, frame rate, all of that very cool stuff. All right, everybody. Hopefully you enjoyed that. If you did, make sure to subscribe as always, and I'll see you later. This isn't going to be in the video, so you don't have to make face. I'm cutting it out. I'm trying to get my hands right.